Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on quite a profound journey, I think, into Rumi's Masnavi, Book One.
hmm
We're diving into a specific section, the story about the Jewish king who, out of fanaticism, would kill Christians. Now, this isn't just, some ancient tale. It's really a masterclass in human psychology, spiritual insight.
Absolutely.
Our mission really is to unpack Rumi's brilliant use of poetry, symbols, metaphors, and draw out that timeless wisdom that still resonates, deeply with our lives right now. We're hoping you get some of those aha moments.
Yeah, and what's so compelling here, I find, is how Rumi uses this seemingly straightforward narrative, a story of conflict, deception, to unravel really complex human flaws.
Right.
We're talking prejudice, um, internal blindness, the subtle art of manipulation, and all this is set against these powerful themes like unity, discernment, and ultimately spiritual awakening.
hmm
We'll be using the source material you provided as our map, sort of to navigate these layers.
Okay, great. So let's unpack this, starting with the very first character Rumi introduces, the oppressive Jewish king. He's described as a foe of Jesus and his following. And Rumi immediately gives us this powerful conceptual tool. He calls the king cross-eyed in his perception. What's going on there?
It's such a striking image, isn't it? And he doesn't mean, literally cross-eyed vision. It's metaphorical blindness.
Okay.
He gives this simple analogy. A teacher asks a boy to fetch one bottle. The cross-eyed boy sees two, smash one, and suddenly both disappear from his view.
Huh.
So it's not physical sight. Rumi spells it out. Desire can make you cross-eyed in its spell, and lust and rage don't just affect your sight. They agitate your soul, set it alight. Virtues forgotten when your heart feels lust. Veils block your heart and eyes like layers of dust.
So if I'm hearing that right, it's about how these intense emotions, especially negative ones like hatred or, unchecked desire, they don't just cloud our judgment, they actually distort our reality, make us see a false truth.
Precisely.
Mm.
That's exactly it. The king is consumed by his hate for Christians, so he becomes cross-eyed. Rumi says he slew believers, claimed it was correct, said Moses' faith I have to protect.
Wow.
He genuinely believes he's right, even righteous, because his internal lenses are warped by this fanaticism.
Yeah. It's a powerful warning, really. When our emotions run high, we can easily create these multiple conflicting realities instead of seeing the single truth or, the shared humanity.
Yeah, you see that happen, demonizing the other.
Justifying actions that would otherwise seem, well, abhorrent.
Makes perfect sense. And then the story takes a darker turn with the king's infidel vizier, so sly that he convinced men even when he'd lie.
Ah, yes, the Vizier.
His vizier comes up with this chillingly clever plot. It's quite theatrical. He tells the king, cut off my nose and hands, dear king, and split my lip to show my suffering, then hang him publicly. The idea is he can then make mischief for them from that day. It's quite something. And what's remarkable, or maybe terrifying, is the vizier's cynical mastery of human nature. He gets it. He understands people are often swayed by appearances, by emotional appeals.
Right.
He tells the king, you can't tell people's faith just by their smell. They've hidden their beliefs inside a sheath. What smiles at you opposes you beneath. He knows he needs to look like a suffering Christian hero to get inside their community.
He really leans into it.
Oh, completely. He says things like, if Jesus had not saved me from that Jew, he would have butchered me, I swear to you. It just highlights this profound danger, how hard it is to tell truth from really sophisticated falsehoods, especially when a liar uses our own biases, our sympathies against us.
Yeah, sincerity can be faked, vulnerability weaponized.
Exactly.
And the plot, tragically, it works. 1,000 Christians gradually thus converged around his home, Rumi says, giving their hearts to him, too ready to obey another's whim. They think he's Christ's deputy.
But Rumi pulls back the curtain. He reveals the vizier was actually the one-eyed antichrist within, which brings us to another really powerful metaphor Rumi uses here.
Yes, tell us about that.
Well, Rumi gives us this image, like bringing wheat inside a farmhouse store, but at the same time losing it once more. Why can't we work this out now with our brains? A mouse keeps sneaking in to steal the grains.
The mouse, it's so vivid. Okay, so if we're putting spiritual effort in our storehouse, but this mouse is stealing the gains, what is the mouse? What's it eating away at?
Yeah, this mouse is just a brilliant symbol for those insidious internal flaws that subtly undermine everything we try to do spiritually, our intentions.
Like what specifically?
Rumi points to things like jealousy, the self-tricks, the ego's cunning ways. He warns us, no prayer is complete without a present mind. This internal mouse, it doesn't just nibble a bit. It can ruin every storehouse far and wide.
Wow. So our external actions, our devotion, our good intentions, they can just be wiped out by these internal impurities, these unexamined motives we let fester.
Pretty much. It's a sobering thought. Our external efforts can be completely nullified if the internal state isn't right.
So the Vizier, in this sense, he is that mouse. He embodies that corrupting force.
Absolutely. Spot on.
Right.
Rumi calls him the spawn of jealousies, who hoped that his bitter envy's poisonous breath would make the souls of poor men meet their death.
Chilling.
It highlights jealousy as this deeply corrupting force. It doesn't just harm others, it diminishes the person consumed by it. Rumi says he loses his nose, which symbolizes his capacity to discern truth and beauty, his inner wisdom.
So that internal mouse of jealousy is driving his whole destructive plan.
Exactly. It's not just about what we do, but the internal state, the why behind the action.
And that lack of discernment, that internal mouse, it makes people incredibly vulnerable, doesn't it? To
Yeah.
another kind of trap, chasing illusions.
Yes.
The Vizier mixed the words of saints with those of cheats, like hiding poison in amongst the sweets. He seemed to say, stand firm while on the way, but Rumi says to their souls, he'd really say, be weak. He preyed on their desire for truth, but twisted it.
Precisely. And Rumi illustrates this with another great metaphor, the foolish hunter.
Ah, yeah.
He says, a foolish hunter chases this all day. Thinking it's real, he seeks it as his prey. Not knowing it's a shadow of the bird, about the simple fact he had not heard. He shoots this shadow with his hunting bow, empties his quiver for a phantom show.
Oof.
Just like his quiver, soon his life runs dry. Wasted pursuing shadows, days pass by.
That's such a stark image of misdirected energy. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of us are like that hunter, exhausting ourselves, our time, chasing things we think are real, but they're just shadows?
It's a critical question for all of us, I think. But Rumi offers hope. He says, but when the shade of God heals like a nurse, it frees one from that empty shadow's curse.
The shade of God, what does he mean by that?
Well, this shade generally refers to the guidance of true spiritual masters, the saints, who Rumi sees as proof of the divine sun's light. He urges us, forget your doubts and follow this man's lead, so at the end of time, you might be freed.
So seek authentic guidance.
Exactly. To avoid wasting our precious time and spiritual energy on illusions, it's about learning to tell the real bird from its shadow, the substance from the phantom show.
Which leads us, I suppose, to the story's chilling climax, the ultimate consequence of the Vizier's long game.
Yeah, this is where it gets truly devastating. After years of deceiving the Christians, the Vizier enacts his final heinous plot. He calls in each of the 12 Christian group leaders, one by one.
Individually.
And gives them each a secret scroll from Jesus. But here's the horror. Each scroll contains different and completely contradictory rules and doctrines.
Oh no, I can see where this is going.
The sheer, calculated cruelty of it is staggering. Rumi describes the chaos. Each contradicted what the rest declared. Their rivals' views each group would blame. One's meat and poison never judged the same. This deliberate division, sowing these seeds of discord, it leads to absolute tragedy.
What happens after he stages his death?
Well, after his theatrical suicide where he claimed he'd sit with Jesus in Heaven's Summit, the Christians are left in this power vacuum. The leaders step up, each totally convinced their secret scroll holds the one true path.
And the result?
Horrific. Rumi says, thousands of Christian bodies soon lay dead, and mounds were formed by gathering each one's head. Just like a flood, their blood spilled all around. This dissension seed which that Vizier had sown produced such tragedies that chill the bone.
That's just gut-wrenching. Such a stark portrayal of where division leads. But Rumi, being Rumi, doesn't leave us there, does he? He contrasts this devastation with unity.
Exactly. He immediately pivots to this powerful message of unity. He asks us to look beyond mere form, the outward appearance, and see Jesus' one-coloredness. He uses the image of a vat of dye. Even if you put in a multicolored garment, it comes out one-colored. This is really core Rumi teaching. He says, the spirit's realm has no plurality, division, individuality. This union of the lovers waits for you. Hold on, don't let its form obstruct your view. Melt stubborn form through hardship and be bold, and you'll find unity beneath like gold.
Melt stubborn form.
Yeah, he's urging us, really pushing us, to transcend those superficial differences and recognize the underlying spiritual essence that connects all genuine seekers.
So what does this mean for you, listening now? It sounds like true spiritual insight, true discernment. It means seeing past the outer wrapping, beyond the form of things, recognizing that form is a barrier to reality. But how do we apply that? In our daily lives, we encounter so many different forms, different opinions, beliefs, ways of doing things.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the challenge. Rumi gives us more illustrations, though. He talks about 10 lamps in a storm. Each differs from the other in its form, but no one still can separate their light.
Ah, okay. The light is one.
Right. Or think of countless apples crushed into juice. You can't tell them apart. He's saying the essence, the light, the taste, it's ultimately unified. He also gives that stark warning about a body which does not contain a soul. It's like a sheath that holds a wooden pole.
Just an empty container.
While hidden in the sheath, it might seem good, but burning is the only use for wood. It hammers home that outward appearance, the form. Without inner essence, without that spiritual depth, it's ultimately useless. It's about seeking people, ideas, experiences that are truly spiritual. They carry the soul, the light, not just the attractive empty sheath.
This feels like it connects to another fascinating, almost philosophical tangent Rumi explores here. Through the pleas of the Vizier's disciples, they're desperate.
And they are.
They plead, "We're like a harp you pluck in various ways. This sad lament's not ours, it's you who plays." They say, "We're like the flute whose music you blow out. It's you, majestic one, who seals our fate." They even quote the Quran, "When you threw, you did not throw," suggesting, we're just the bow, it's God who's taking aim. They're grappling with free will versus divine compulsion.
It's such a timeless paradox, isn't it? How do we square our very real sense of agency, our personal responsibility, with this idea of a greater divine will or fate?
What's Rumi's take?
Well, he offers a really nuanced and I think profoundly human perspective. He challenges that idea of absolute compulsion. He asks, if we're not free to choose, then why feel shame, express regret and grief, and take the blame?
Good point. Why regret if we had no choice?
Exactly. He suggests our suffering, our pain, even illnesses can actually wake you with increased intelligence. That feeling remorse, experiencing difficulty, it can be the very catalyst that makes us beg forgiveness for a life of sin and resolve to follow righteous ways.
So our struggles matter. Our responses matter.
Immensely. It suggests that even within some grander divine plan, our individual responses, our capacity for regret, our potential for conscious change, these are incredibly real and meaningful. We aren't just puppets. Our inner struggles, our choices, they're part of the journey itself.
That's a powerful thought. Our discomfort isn't just something to endure. It can actually be a teacher pushing us towards awareness, maybe transformation.
Precisely. And ultimately, Rumi encourages us to look for the purest kernels within. He uses the image of pomegranates being crushed and split, the sweet ones turn to syrup, the outer shell, the form gets broken down, and the essence is revealed.
Like getting to the heart of the matter.
Yes. And he suggests that generous laughter shows us openly the heart, a pearl within the spirit's sea. It's about that inner truth, that authentic essence that remains when the outward appearances are stripped away. Cultivating a heart so open, so genuine, that its joy, its generous laughter, just naturally reveals that inner pearl of spirit.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive into Rumi's Masnavi has really illuminated so much. We've seen how distorted perception, fueled by hate and desire, leads to oppression, deception, blinding us to our shared humanity. We've uncovered those subtle ways internal flaws that mouse in the storehouse can quietly undermine our best intentions, our spiritual efforts. We've explored the dangers of chasing shadows instead of seeking real, essential guidance.
And the tragic consequences of division born from false teachings.
Absolutely. Contrasted with Rumi's profound, urgent call to, transcend that superficial form and realize the fundamental unity that lies beneath it all.
It's just a powerful reminder, isn't it, that these ancient wisdom traditions aren't just history books. They offer immediate, actionable insights for navigating our own complex modern world. Rumi's metaphors, they just cut right to the core of human experience.
Truly incredible. What a journey through the Masnavi today. We really hope this deep dive into Rumi's wisdom has offered you some new perspectives on, discernment, those unseen traps within, and the profound transformative power of unity.
Yeah, and maybe as you go about your week, you could consider this. In what areas of your life might you be seeing things through a kind of cross-eyed lens of desire or anger? Seeing two truths, or maybe there's just one?
That's a great question.
And maybe also, how might you begin to, as Rumi says, melt stubborn form in your own interactions? Looking beyond those superficial differences to maybe find the underlying unity in situations or even people that seem contradictory on the surface.
Lots to think about there. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep growing.